Welcome to The Explainer. Every single time you go online, you are using a system that is absolutely vital, but at the same time, it's almost completely invisible. It's kind of like the hidden engine that makes the whole internet just work for us. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain. We are going to explore the internet's phone book. I mean, really think about it for a second. You type in a web address, you hit enter, and poof, like magic, the correct page just shows up. But it's not magic, right? Of course not. It's a brilliantly designed system that's answering one single question. How does your computer find that one specific website in a sea of literally billions of them? And here is the core of the issue. We humans, we're great with names, right? Things like theexplainer.com. Super easy to remember, easy to type. But computers, they don't speak that language. They speak in numbers, specifically IP addresses. You know, those long strings of digits that are pretty much impossible for us to remember. So, how do you bridge that gap? Well, the answer is DNS, which stands for the Domain Name System. And this is basically the official translator for the internet. Its one and only job is to take the name that we type in and convert it into the IP address that the computer actually needs to make the connection. Honestly, the easiest way to wrap your head around DNS is with a simple analogy. Just think of it as the phone book for the entire internet. You look up a person's name to find their number. Your computer looks up a website's name to find his IP address. It's really that simple and that powerful. Okay, so let's actually follow a single request on its journey. We're going to trace the path from the moment you type in a web address all the way to the moment the page starts loading. It's a wild ride. So it all starts with you. You type theexplainer.com and you hit enter, and instantly your computer has a question. It knows the name you want, but it has no earthly idea where that name actually lives on the internet. It needs that IP address. Now, your computer doesn't just shout into the void hoping for an answer. Instead, it hands off the request to this special server called a recursive resolver. You can think of this as your own personal internet concierge. Its whole job is to take your request and do all the legwork, all the hard stuff to hunt down the answer for you. Now, here's the thing. The resolver probably doesn't know the answer itself. So what does it do? It goes right to the top of the chain of command. It sends your request to something called a root server. And get this, there are only 13 of these root server systems for the entire planet. They are the master index of the internet. Now, the root server doesn't have the specific IP for theexplainer.com, but it knows something absolutely crucial. It knows who manages all of the .com addresses. So the root server basically acts like a switchboard operator. It looks at your request for theexplainer.com and says, that's a .com address. I know who handles those. And then it points your resolver in the right direction to the very next server in the chain, the TLD server. TLD, that just stands for top-level domain, and this server is a specialist. It manages all the information for a specific domain ending, whether that's .com, .org, .gov, you name it. It's like we've gone from the main library index to the specific shelf that holds all the .com books. Okay, so the .com TLD server still doesn't have the final IP address, but it knows who does. It looks up theexplainer.com in its records and points the resolver to one final destination, the authoritative name server for that specific domain. We've finally arrived. This is it. The authoritative name server is the ultimate source of truth. The buck stops here. It holds the official final record that says theexplainer.com is located at this specific IP address. This is where the actual phone number is stored. So the authoritative name server provides the IP address. That answer then zips all the way back through the chain to your resolver, which then hands it off to your computer. And now, with the correct number in hand, your computer can connect directly to the website server. And boom, the page begins to load on your screen. And here's the most amazing part of this whole thing. That entire round trip from your computer to the resolver, to the root server, the TLD server, the authoritative server, and all the way back typically happens in less than 30 milliseconds. To put that in perspective, it takes you 300 milliseconds, 10 times longer, just to blink your eye. It's incredible. So, okay, we've seen how it all works, but why is this complex, totally invisible system so important to our everyday lives? Why does it matter? Well, DNS is essential for a few huge reasons. First, and most obviously, it makes the internet user-friendly. Without it, you wouldn't be typing names. You'd be trying to memorize long IP addresses for every single site. Yeah, good luck with that. Second, as we saw, it's built for insane speed and efficiency, making the web feel instant.
Third, it enables seamless access to everything, not just websites, but your emails, streaming services, all of it. And finally, it's actually a critical pillar of cybersecurity. Good DNS resolvers can act as the internet's first line of defense, blocking requests to known malicious sites.
So the next time you browse a website, just take a second to remember that lightning-fast journey happening behind the scenes. DNS works so well that we never, ever have to notice it, which leads to kind of a fascinating final thought. What would our world actually look like if, for just one day, the internet's phone book suddenly went blank?